Solid clappy McClapperson to start the show, Steven.
Solid clap.
How's your voice doing?
It's not the best right now. It's a little under the weather.
Good thing we don't how are your levels?
I think they're pretty good. I mean, maybe I should bump them up a little bit. Well, I actually did bump them up a little bit than normal.
Yeah, I know it sucks because I know at some point I will be sick too, and I don't. Oh, you better mark that microphone.
Yeah, right.
You better mark that microphone as yours.
I will.
Yours and guests, or we could just spray some vodka on it. Vodka would totally clean the microphone.
That sounds good.
I think the artists do that on the road.
Do they?
Yeah, they put vodka on it. Like,
doesn't that damage it?
Well, I mean, you spray it on the outside. I don't know.
Wouldn't you just do like alcohol or something? Well, I mean,
vodka is like alcohol.
But I mean, like rubbing alcohol instead.
Vodka's better, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Jared Polin, Frono's Photo.com. Welcome to another Raw Talk episode number 65. That is number 65. What are you looking at? You were making sure the GoPro was blinking?
I was making sure the GoPro was blinking.
The GoPro is blinking. GoPro is blinking. is blinking. The GoPro is blinking.
GoPro is good.
So on this week's episode, we're going to go through our normal type of thing, but we do have an interview this week, and it's a different type of interview than you may expect. I have a friend, he's only 24 years old, and he is a broadcaster, a TV broadcaster, already doing games for ESPN 3, the Big Ten Network, and a bunch of other different well, you're going to hear the interview. I want you to know that he's not a photographer, but everything that he talks about can relate in one way to another to anything, especially photography, how you get from point A to point B, how you knock down doors, and how you take corrective criticism, and how you get critiques of your work, and how you do your social media. You're going to want to hear this. This is Dave Leno, and he will come up as a 24-year-old with a killer. He does some live reads, which are funny. Too. He's a really great, he's a nice guy, and I think you're going to enjoy that interview. We sat down for about 40 to 45 minutes with a nice talk. That's going to come up at the very end of the episode. He wanted me to remind everybody that he will be on, his next games are Wednesday the 18th, Temple versus Texas Southern on ESPN 3, and Sunday the 22nd, Rutgers versus Army on ESPN 3. So yeah, you can check that out. Steven, how was your week?
It was good. I started getting a little sick toward the end of the week, obviously. That's why my voice is shot. So I've been pretty much taking a ton of medicine the past couple of days. I've been a little high on occasion as far as like all this medicine dosage goes.
What are you taking?
Everything from Mucinex D to like severe allergy medicine to Robitussin to cough drops.
What if you just took nothing?
I wouldn't be able to be here right now.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to be. I wouldn't be speaking right now. Like my voice was so bad last night, I couldn't even talk. So it's getting a little better, but it's definitely not where it should be. It sucks to work in radio when your voice is like this too.
I heard you on the radio this morning and you sounded fine.
Well, I also had to do the read like 10 times because the first time I sounded like this, and then I just kept cutting through my throat pretty much until I finally sounded decent.
I heard it.
Yeah.
I was like, Steven sounds fine. He'll be in for Raw Talk today because I was at my workout.
Plus, I obviously projected a little more. Like now I'm just normal speaking voice, but yeah.
It's funny because Dave talks about that projection thing later on.
Oh, yeah. It's a total, it's radio. I mean, you know.
Jimmy Arcade. It's his real name.
I call bullcrap.
He had it legally changed.
Did he really?
To Jimmy Arcade because I said Tron, but he said he came up in the Mortal Kombat days.
That's
and
awesome.
He was known as Jimmy Arcade. He legally changed his name to Jimmy Arcade. For anybody who doesn't know, check back Raw Talk 64. Jimmy Arcade was the Wheel of Fro contestant who won a year subscription to Squarespace.
Yeah.
So that's what he won.
That's so awesome that he changed his name to that.
Yep. It's a cool name, Jimmy Arcade.
Jimmy Arcade.
And the other thing that we talked about in Photo News last week was the guy who dropped his new 24 to 72.8.
Yes.
I called shenanigans based off of the way that it ended. It's a very convincing video because I watched it after we had the talk, and probably if I watched it before, I may have told you that it was real.
Yeah, that's why I was saying.
But what I said to you, the reason why I thought it was fake was for the fact that he yelled like cut, just cut.
Yeah.
And you didn't see it bounce off the ground. You heard it. So something did bounce. And those things happen. People do these spoof videos all the time. And it turns out that it was a fake. He put up a new video saying that it was. He dropped his old lens that was broken and so on and so forth.
And he said that that bounce was actually a real lens bouncing, but it was the old lens.
Right.
Because people were commenting saying like, oh, it's a fake bounce. It's not what it sounds like. And he was saying basically it's really bad if you know what a 24-70 sounds like when it hits the ground.
Right.
But I did update that news post last week that we did for RAWtalk 64. So the video's up there.
Got it. I did a shoot this week.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you what I got paid. I told him to put money in an envelope and hand it to me.
What was it?
This kid, Brian Marsala, he's not even a kid. He's a well-known jazz pianist. Tremendous stuff. He was playing, it's Brian Marsala and the Imaginarium. Just imagine that. And so, we go to rock shows and they play like 3 chords, right? They play 3 notes and they're not the best musicians in the world most of the time.
Power chords or something.
These are real classically trained musicians. There were 7 people. That he plays piano, keyboards, this other thing. I don't even know what it was on the ground. He had a violinist, he had a trumpetist, he had a upright bass player, he had a drum player, and he had a lead guitar player, and then he had this Ciro Baptista guy. If you look up Ciro Baptista, you'll find out that he played with Yo-Yo Ma. He produced him. Yo-Yo Ma, you know who he is? Classic cello player.
It's ringing a bell, but I can't.
Fantastic.
Exactly
Yo-Yo Ma.
what.
I would love to see Yo-Yo Ma play. But Ciro Baptista is amazing. He comes out there with like 50 or 60 different instruments of noise-making capability. He swirls this thing over his head at different speeds to make a whirling sound.
Nice.
The Imaginarium is an interesting place to be. I venture to say if you were high in the Imaginarium, it would probably be even better than it was. So what I did still images of it. I just wanted to get out and shoot. Mm-hmm. So when he asked me to shoot, Adam Rosenberg's friends with him, they called me on a conference. He's like, our photographer dropped out. I was like, all right. I'm like, I want to shoot. He's like, well, what do I pay you? I'm like, whatever you want to pay me, basically. And it didn't have a lot of money. So I wanted to go out and shoot. I wanted to shoot again, which needs to happen. So I did a lot of really cool behind-the-scenes stuff early. And then when the show started, I brought my monopod for doing video, because I thought maybe I would end up doing video too. Mm-hmm. And I like to split it up, but I realized that stills weren't going to work during the show. The lighting wasn't the greatest.
I was gonna say, how was that?
Plus the angles, I couldn't move around because it was done in it's called the Painted Bride. It's on 2nd and Arch, and
small club.
It's 100 seats, but it's stepped up like the floor is even with the stage, so it's like a theater because they do theater shows there. So then I realized I'm going to do video. So I brought with me the Rode Video Mic Go, and what I loved about it, I set it. I didn't have to change any buttons on it. The only thing I did was lower my levels in the camera like you taught me, so that I didn't put it on auto so that it would just be all over the place. Yeah. I set it to 4, and I didn't peak once.
Nice.
Which was great. It stayed in the yellow even when they were playing really as loud as they could. And what's awesome, it's so directional. When Ciro was playing, he was playing the bongos with one hand, and then he had the cowbell right in front of the camera. So you hear the cowbell and you hear the bongos because it's directed right there.
That's cool.
So what we're gonna do with this video is I'm gonna cut it up, just the coolest sounding parts of the show, because he's going nuts on the piano. Awesome stuff. And I'm gonna get you the audio so that you can do your thing as we would tweak an audio file. Mm-hmm. I will put up straight out of the camera and the other, just so that you can hear it. But that was cool. I can't wait to get that going.
Nice.
Sorry, I went off on a topic.
No, you're good.
And then there's one more topic before we get into photo news. What are you looking at?
Just time.
How are we doing on time?
About 10 minutes in.
Time.
But we got to keep this video going, though.
Yes, it is.
Because that interview's a little long.
Time is not on Steven's side. I got an email from her. I actually got a Facebook message from a reader.
Yeah.
Fascist the Hacienda. I don't even know what that is. Oh, it says FAC 51 photo release, Peter Hook and the Light. Do you even know who that band is?
No.
Me either.
Peter Hook sounds familiar for some reason.
But it's in Athens.
Okay.
I don't have the photographer's name, which I probably shouldn't say anyway. But he emailed me and he's like, did I do something wrong by signing this? So I read this form.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Like a photo release form?
Yes. Thank you for entering into this agreement. This is to certify that photos taken by so-and-so of Peter Hook and the Light at the above venue are free for the usage of the named photographer provided the following conditions within the release are met. So that's fine.
Okay.
They're saying you can use the images as long as you follow what's on in here. Name, company, contact. Peter Hook and the Light are to receive high-res copies of all shots sent digitally to the address below, which will be entirely free for their use for any purpose. Have you ever seen that?
I've never had to do that.
All I've ever seen is that we may contact you, and if we do...
If we want to, you'll have to do it, yeah.
So I stopped... Let's see.
Not that you'll have to, though.
The photographer retains the rights to commercially distribute the images across all media, but is not allowed to license or use the images for merchandising, which is fine, without permission, so on, so forth.
That's normal, yep.
Photographers will be credited on all shots used by Peter Hook and the Light. Whoop-de-freaking-do.
At least they credit.
Whoop-de-freaking-do. Failure to supply images means that this agreement is void and all pictures taken must be destroyed by the photographer and usage ceased.
That is weird.
So if you don't send them the high res that they want, then you're not going to be allowed to use them. Please note, Peter Hook and the Light are not looking to limit the usage of the photographer, merely ensuring that Peter Hook and the Light have the rights to use the photography for their own purposes entirely without charge. Fuck you. This permission does not represent in any way a waiver by Peter Hook or his common law, blah, 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 blah. So the photographer signed this, and he says, do I have to send them to them? And I'm like, well, if you signed it.
Sounds like it.
If you signed it and you want to use the images, then yes. He's like, what about a watermark? I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, this is what I would do if I were you. Put a big ass watermark on your high res images right across the important part of the photo.
Not even barely transparent.
No, screw it. It doesn't. You're sending them the high res images.
Right. It doesn't say it.
You don't have to do anything other than send them the high res images.
You're still following the rules.
It doesn't say without watermark. So I would send that to them and say, you need to update your contract.
I'm sure they'll update it after that.
After that, they will. That's what I said to him, because I'm like, well, I would have personally, what I would have done if I was that photographer, I would have gone like this. And for anybody sitting at home listening I just crossed out that. I crossed it out on the contract, and then I signed it. If they allowed me to shoot the show, I'm free to go, right? Because I crossed it out, and they allowed me to shoot it.
I had a friend that I was shooting Jingle Ball with, and he had said that he never signs any photo release form. He somehow dodges it every single time. Like, he'll pretend he signed it and then just walk away and never come back. But like, at least at our Philly venues, they'll track you down in the pit.
I haven't been tracked down once.
I've been tracked down once or twice.
I've signed other people's names. I've signed my name illegible.
A lot of people. I always do illegible.
And I put a fake email down.
I always put fake phone number. I don't know. I just do really sloppy, so you can't even read it half the time. But I don't know.
I'm looking at your pen, just making sure it's closed, because you just touched my table with it, Steven. If I come over and there's ink marks on my face,
no, I think
on
you're
my
good.
arm,
You're
but
good.
no. So he asked me what to do, and I'm like, well, I thought at first I thought, well, you got to send them the images. He's like, what about the watermark? And then I was like, that makes total sense.
It does.
And screw them. This is stupid.
I would do exactly that. I would put a giant ass watermark.
Well, yeah, I would put a giant watermark, because it doesn't say don't put a. It doesn't say what. It says nothing about watermark. It says they'll credit you, but you're making sure that you do get credited by putting your watermark right in the high res image. You're in the right here, because it's not in the contract that says no watermark. It doesn't say clean image as shot, so that's fine. And it doesn't say raw. It says high res. And I would have crossed it out, or I would have not shot. I would have not shot. Screw you. I'm not giving you images.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you rights to you. I'm not sending you stuff and you using them for no cost.
I mean, is this a big act?
I don't know.
Maybe
I
it
don't
is
know.
wherever
Maybe
he's
it
from.
is. I don't know.
But the name doesn't seem familiar.
But that's really that, Steven.
Yeah.
That's what I had out of there. Let me say one thing before we do photo news.
Gotcha.
Rode let me know there is a 12-day giveaway. People like contests, so I'm telling you. Rode is doing a 12-day giveaway starting December 13th. That is Friday the 13th. So when this is out, they've already started the giveaway, but there are 12 days in a row that they're giving away microphones on their Facebook page, which is, I just believe it's Rode Microphones. Just look it up. Rode Microphone. You can find that and just read what they're asking you to do. One of the things they may ask you to do is challenges like, show us your best rock star pose. You can do that. I mean, just You're a photographer. Make it happen. If you want to win something, they're even giving away a Classic 2, a Rode Classic 2, which is a $4,000 microphone.
I think it's 2.
What?
I looked up the price online. I think it's $2,000.
Well, they told me that
maybe MSRP is.
Well,
$4,000.
maybe the one they were talking. How are we doing on time?
We should reset in a minute.
All right, you want to reset it?
All right, cool.
Well, I talk. Maybe the one he was talking about was the limited edition one. So he told me that one was $4,000. So that's what well, maybe that's not what they're giving away, but I don't know. Giving anything away and winning is worth it, especially when they have like 8,000 people on their Facebook page, right?
Yep.
That's not a lot.
That's actually a pretty good
you have a good
chance
of winning.
For sure.
So definitely go like their page anyway. Like their page because why not? If you want to find out more. So anyway, if they're going to give you a contest you can win, let's move on to photo news. But definitely do that. I may enter myself because Walt Lafty wants to win a Classic 2.
I would love to get a Classic 2.
You know what it is, though?
Yeah.
It's really the go-to mic that people use in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Rode NT2A that I use, which is about
They're giving away a 3A.
What's up?
Are they up to like a 3A now?
Probably.
I think they're giving away one of those.
This
How much
was about
it?
3-4 years ago. So
that's your
mine
mic?
was probably about $600 when I first bought it.
Is that what you use?
Yeah.
You use a $600 radio mic.
Yeah. Well, now it's probably worth about half of that, because they have the new version. But yeah, it's a great mic. It still works great. And my house got struck by lightning, and that's the only thing that lasted. My interface blew, my hard drive, my computer, everything fried except the microphone, and it was plugged in.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Photo news.
First up, there's a new low light champ. The Nikon DF. He outperformed the D4 DxO Mark's low light ISO category. I know you're a huge fan of DxO Mark's tests.
They
so
keep
I figured I'd bring
emailing
it up. But it's nearly identical to D4 minus the low light category. It kills it by about 400 points or so. Overall, the Nikon DF took the 11th best sensor spot with a respectable score of 89 points. So,
okay,
it's pretty good. I mean,
what's number one in the spot?
Number one, I think D800. Isn't that still number one?
Not in low light performance.
No. I'm just saying overall sensor.
So it's the best low light camera performing out there.
It's the best low light ever. Yeah.
So. You know what we have to do in the wrap-up of the year show if we do another one for the end of the year? Well, last year I made predictions. Mm-hmm. So I have to go back and talk about those predictions. I said there would be a D4S, I believe, out by November would be announced.
Guess that's a no.
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet. Well, it wouldn't be till New Year's, but...
There's only 2 weeks left that it could happen.
Remind me to scan that paper.
Which paper?
I'm not that paper that's sitting on my desk that I told you about earlier.
Okay.
That I have to send back to a certain company.
Oh, yeah.
So that I can be told some information.
Yep.
I didn't use any names.
You didn't.
I'm not telling you who. And I want to know what that stuff is.
And you have no idea what it's going to be about.
But I don't know what company it is. Maybe it's Rode.
Maybe.
Or Squarespace.
Oh, yeah.
So low light. Mm-hmm. I said we'd do the year-end wrap-up thing where I make predictions and go over last year's predictions. I just noticed something. This is this color here. In my new logo for the new RAWtalk logo that we're going to unveil at some point, this is white.
Is it?
I don't know why it's white.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I'm going to let him know and see if he'll change it up.
Yeah.
Because I like this gray better.
Well, yeah, it's a softer like gradient that works better.
I'm gonna call him on that. Or maybe he did it. Maybe he did that because he put headphones on me.
To make it more distinct?
Maybe. But I also saw that he did it in the Flash one as well because I went back and looked.
I don't know.
I'm talking too much.
Well, just because we have a lot of that big interview after this.
I know we have that big interview, Steven. We don't have flying solo. But no, so the low light capability, it just shows you the same sensor can still get better low light capability as the progression of the processing boards get better.
Yep.
So next story.
Next up, this one actually we need to get. It's a new do-it-yourself adapter called the Rib Cage. It allows GoPro cameras to use interchangeable lenses. It works with the Hero 3 or the Hero 3 Plus, the new one. It's basically just a new housing for the camera, and it'll let you mount any C-format 16mm camera lens, so more like the old school lenses. You could always get an adapter though and put like a Nikon or a Canon mount or whatever onto into that as well, so you can really use virtually any lens, which is awesome. It also includes an infrared cut filter, which is removable, so you could do infrared with your GoPro. And the company is currently taking pre-orders for delivery early next year, and they're giving buyers 2 options to choose from. You can either buy the rib cage as a do-it-yourself kit that will work with your existing GoPro for $200, but you literally have to like take it apart, the whole housing, so it's a little risky. Or you can buy a pre-assembled package with a brand new Hero 3 Plus inside for $800. So I would probably go with the latter, but
what are you attaching to it?
You're basically taking the silver mounting or the housing off.
I got that.
Putting the new housing on, which comes with a mount for the C format lenses.
What's a C format lens?
It's like the older, smaller lenses that they used to use in like the
like film cameras.
Old film cameras. What's it called? I shot them in college. Bowflex or Bioflex?
Bowflex.
Bowflex?
No. Bowflex is the workout
I know, but
thing.
what's it? It's Bow. Whatever they're called. Those
not Rolly. It's a Flex.
Yeah, I forget.
Something Flex.
But anyway,
I thought it was a Bowflex.
I thought it was too, but
I think it's Bowflex.
I don't know, but those cameras,
all right,
or any of the older 60mm Super 8 cameras, stuff like that, they have the C format.
Gonna have to see it to believe it.
It looks really cool, and it'll let you basically. I thought at first this was just a adapter you put over the existing lens, but it's not.
Question, Steven.
Yes.
Am I doing photo news today in the video because you don't have much of a voice?
Maybe you might be.
I may be filling in.
We could. You can switch it up.
So you get to yell at me.
We could do that. I could play. What, director or producer?
You'll be the guy behind the camera that yells at me like I yell at you.
Every time I start, stop.
Cut. I did that on purpose.
I know.
But that was funny.
It was good. Next up, we have photographer Robert Cornelius. He's being recognized as taking the world's first ever selfie, which was in 1839. He took a self-portrait of him staring into the camera lens again in 1839. It was taken just months after Louis Daguerre revealed his daguerreotype process, and he apparently just took the lens cover off, ran in front of the camera, stood there for a long
Sat there for
exposure.
an hour.
Yeah, back in the day.
Closed
for a pinhole.
And then closed the thing.
Yeah, closed the
lens.
flap. And the portrait is now being housed in the Library of Congress, but that's up on the website. You can check out.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just, it's amazing that, this was almost 200 years ago, nearly 175 or so.
I when we were going through,
mind-blowing.
when you and I sat here and made our From the Bookshelf videos yesterday and was looking through the president's photographers, and you see an Abraham Lincoln photo.
That's crazy.
It's just like, that's the 1860s. It's like, well, actually, that's not even that far. But it's still over 150 years.
Yeah, yeah.
That's 150 years, man.
It's crazy.
The only thing old enough that's still alive are the redwoods and Galapagos Island turtles.
Oh, yeah? That's pretty random.
Hashtag Galapagos Island turtles.
Moving on, we have a new Kickstarter campaign for a product called Flight. It's PHLITE.
I didn't ask you to put this in there.
You didn't? What, is that bad?
I think it's a
cool
piece
idea
of crap
to talk about.
You could go ahead, talk about it.
All right. Well, you never tell me what to put in.
No, I never tell
figure
you.
it out.
You do your own thing.
Yeah. So anyway, new Kickstarter campaign. The product's called Flight. It transforms your gear into a camera-themed desk, table, or floor lamp in seconds. So basically, if you have older gear laying around like an F5 or the whole lineup, you could basically put this little do-it-yourself, not do-it-yourself, but
it's a
lamp on.
It's a lamp shade with a
hot
wire.
shoe.
And put a bulb in it.
Yeah, so it's a portable light that can attach to your camera via its hot shoe, or you can put onto your light stand or any tripod.
And how much is it?
It's using their patent pending quick clip. They have 2 sizes. One runs $65, smaller size, and the other one's $80. I do think it's way too expensive.
It looks like a $19.99 item.
It looks
but
like
wait,
a $10 item.
If you call now, we will include 2 more free. Just pay separate shipping and handling fees. Sorry, just pay separate processing fees, which run you $700.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate when you hear that on that.
I
You
know.
know, if you're just
they
gonna
say it so fast.
They're gonna be. We've got the Slap Chop. If you buy one, we're going to include the Slap Chop Mini for free. Just pay separate shipping and just pay separate handling fees or processing fees. Processing my ass. You push a button. Give me 2 instead of 1.
Yep. Gotta love it. But anyway, just finishing this story up, the Kickstarter campaign already raised about $8,500.
Pounds.
Well, no, US dollars.
You converted it because it was at 6,300 pounds.
So yeah, $8,500 US at the time of this recording. With about 3 more weeks to go, they're hoping to raise $35,000 US. I think 24,000 pounds, which I think is a crazy, outrageous price for this.
They've gotten a lot. I got an email from the founder.
Yeah,
he's the same guy who did the Frio, which is this guy he's an extremely nice guy. Mm-hmm. Always coming up with different ideas. always, or it's not the froyo. It's the plastic thing that you put a flash into that makes a ring flash because the light bounces around it and it's a piece of plastic thing that is not very good.
Yeah.
So he comes up with a lot of these ideas that are the lower end, tried like accessories to try to do something that's more expensive does better.
Yeah.
So when I saw this thing that people were sending around and I watched it, I'm like, the reason I get it for old gear. Okay, you want to put old gear out, you want to do that. But when in the video they sit there and they say, well, when you're not using your gear like your D4, you can make it be a lamp. Just what I want sitting around with a wire attached to it for somebody to trip over.
Yep.
Just what I want attached to my camera.
No, I agree on that. I think it'd be really cool if you had the old gear sitting around or something. But yeah, the new stuff, no way.
But and again, $65?
Yeah, that's crazy. They have the small one works for the cameras and the big one works for the tripod.
You know what that is, right?
I can't remember off the top of my head. What is
Jim
it?
Sapala wants to see ya in a Kia.
Is that a commercial?
That's a local commercial around here. This guy owns a commercial. He's Jim Sabella wants to see ya in a Kia, and he's got this guy. I forget his name, but they started to run these commercials like 2 years ago where he's like, tell him. He's like, that's crazy. And then that was the big thing. They would do the commercials. How are we doing? Do I need to reset it?
No, we're still good. We're about 10 minutes in on these times right now.
Right.
I do think it's ridiculous when like the actual owners of the lots or the car lots or whatever do it. I think it just sounds so cheesy.
Well, speaking of cheesy, I'm sure you guys have this locally, but we've got this one that says, if my emblem's not on the back of your car, you probably paid too much. And that's from the 70s. It's from Chapman, I think, Chapman Auto Group. And so they have the original founder finish up, and he's dead now. He died probably of lung cancer from smoking. He finishes every commercial. They run his old spot, and I sit there.
I know what you're talking about.
I sit there and I say, if I saw that, I don't want to buy a car from these people. I don't want to buy a car because this guy sounds like the Marlboro Man. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to see a green thing or something.
Yeah. And do you remember that one commercial that they air on occasion, which is from like the 70s or 80s with the dude playing basketball, the bigger guy, and then he falls and like breaks his back and he has to go to some lawyer, and it's just like so poorly shot. It's in like
Better Call
4x3. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
it might be national, but it's so bad.
The one that I used to watch.
I've seen it since I was growing up.
The one that I used to watch was this guy they called the Slasher.
Yeah.
He was all hopped up on something making these videos for Dodge. And it was a local car dealership thing. So he was called the Slasher. Why was he called the Slasher? Because I'm going to take my glasses off. Excuse me. He would bring out cars. He'd line them up, and there would be people in the background cheering. And he'd bring out this first one, and it's a 2005 Dodge conversion van in pink and purple. Normally, this is going to sell for $20,000. Slash it! So all the fans in the back would say, slash it. He'd be like, today we're going to slash it to 18,000. Am I done? No, it's going to be 16,000. Slash it. Okay, the slasher's going to do something he's never done before. He's going to slash it to $99.99. That's right, slash it. Yeah. And everyone's like, yeah. And then they'll get the next car.
You're definitely peaking on that, I guarantee it.
My neighbors, are we all right?
You're guaranteed to be overmodulated on those.
So he was called the Slasher.
Yeah. They were pretty animated right there.
I used to sit there and watch this all the time. It would be run for like an hour, and every week they'd be like, all right, we've got the pickup truck coming out in yellow. Normally it's $15,999.
What are they gonna do, kids?
Slash it.
What do you
$12.99. Slash it. $10.99. No, slash it again, Slasher. And then he's like, okay. $89.99.99. Get it out of here. Get the next one in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You're so loud,
I pulled a
dude.
muscle.
I guarantee your neighbors are like freaking out. We heard your neighbors downstairs just talking, and you're like yelling to the top of your lungs. Oh man, I can't imagine if I were them.
I can't see. I'm going to reset it as you go to the next news.
I mean, all right, yeah, we're 13 minutes in, so yeah, I guess that's good. All right, I'll continue on.
I gotta
while you
recover
recover
from my slash it episode. Slash it. No, the people in the background would be like, slash it. You want to do a live not live RAWtalk. People are like, why don't you do a live RAWtalk? This is live.
It's live to tape
because we don't cut it.
Yeah.
But I would like to have a live studio audience one day.
That would be cool.
Jaleel and local people can roll up in.
Maybe do like a Frodo walk and then have them all come here after.
No. We're gonna pick a couple of people. They'll sit in the background as a live studio audience, and we'll go maybe the game show when we get our game show going.
That's cool. But I just want to finish up on that story too. They also Flight plans to offer free downloadable patterns to use, so it doesn't look like that really boring lampshade that they had during the campaign that they're doing. Now, speaking of Kickstarter, yet another photography-related campaign kicked off this week. A new iPhone case called Lightstrap, which doubles as a ring flash, is trying to raise money to make this happen. The Lightstrap case works by sensing and mimicking the phone's flash, so when the flash does go off, so does the Lightstrap case. You all right, dude?
Did you see what I'm wearing?
Did you see wearing the sweatpants?
I've got
You look like a homeless bum or something.
I've got sweatpants on top of that. I've got my shorts, and I look like Teen Wolf. The reason I'm wearing this is because there's a hole in the back of my sweatpants, and I haven't gotten new ones yet.
Oh yeah,
for easy access.
So anyway, the flash goes off on your phone, and then the Lightstrap does go off as well. And only Lightstrap does it, but with 10 times the power, apparently. So using the two
How
buttons,
much power, Steven?
10 times the power.
Slash it! Double it!
Apparently, there's 2 buttons on the case. You use both of them. You can pick from 7 different brightness levels and 6 different color temperature settings until you've got the flash dialed in just right. And since the Lightstrap runs off its own battery, which promises 500 plus flashes per charge, you won't have to drain your phone to use it, which is nice. Lightstrap will run you about $97, or if you're an early bird contributor, it's $87, and it's already up to about 68,000 at the time of this recording, and they're asking for 245,000 with another 3 weeks to go.
Okay.
Another very expensive Kickstarter campaign, but this one I think takes a lot more effort than that. The Flight.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Keep going?
Yeah, man. I got nothing. I already used
Quick
all my
update.
energy.
I
slashed it.
A quick update for those who didn't get their hands on Adobe's photography Photoshop bundle for $9.99 a month. They're now extending it to the end of this year.
What was the original price?
The original price was what, $19.99?
Slash it, Steven.
That was a good one.
What'd they do to it?
They slashed it. Oh, I can't do it. My voice. Anyway, they slashed it to $9.99 a month, and they're now extending it. They keep extending it, but this I think is the last time.
Speaking of extending things, Steven.
Yeah.
While we're at it, did you reset your camera?
I did, but I'll add like 2 minutes on.
No, make it. We'll stop at 15 minutes. There.
That's cool.
We talked about this oversaturation of emails about Black Friday, pre-Black Friday, Black Friday, post-Black Friday, Cyber Monday, extended Cyber Monday, extended Black Friday. They have Green Tuesday. Green Monday.
I did just see
Green Monday.
I saw an email and I was like, what the hell is this?
Are you kidding me? Can you guys stop it already? This is enough with the bullshit sales tactics. You've devalued the sale.
You really
Sales
have.
are no longer. This is bullshit now. Just if you want to put something on sale, put it on sale. Stop this extended stuff. This is so over the top. It's not even funny anymore. People don't care. After a while, if you just are constantly pushing, people turn it off.
Yep.
And that's
they're
exactly
not
what's
think
happening
it's a
here.
worth deal to go out and get.
No, because what makes a deal special is that it just comes out of nowhere and it ends at a certain point.
That's when I'm on my impulse and I will get it right away. Like there's so many things where if they're back in stock or something, or if it's a one-time only sale or 1 day only or 2 day only.
Yeah.
I'll
24
act on my
hours.
impulse and get it right away.
But now you know that if you don't get it on Black Friday, well, there could be another sale tomorrow. You're just going to wait.
That's true.
Like when I did the Black Friday through Cyber Monday sale where I dropped the price of the video guide to $57, people took advantage of that because they know that I've only dropped the price, I think, once before to $57, and that was last Black Friday.
And it rarely happens.
It rarely happens. So when it does happen, you jump on it.
Jump on it. I was waiting for that.
Jump on it, Tonto. Jump on it.
You gonna do the dance?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm doing it in my pants. I mean, I'm doing it in my seat.
That sounded terrible.
Well, I do have a hole in the back of my pants, Steven.
Oh, God.
All right, let's get to more news.
More news. We have, you sent me this, Lens Tag. They released an app for both iOS and Android devices.
I forgot to download it.
And I did too. But we were talking about this. They had this coming in for a long time, and it finally came. So you can add gear and take a picture picture of an item serial number in one take. You can also check.
You got to understand, Steven, it's one guy.
Yeah.
So if it takes some time, it's one guy developing.
It's totally understandable. I mean, he's doing a ton of work for one guy. You can check serial numbers against the stolen number database that they created, which is really nice. You can transfer items to users, even if they don't have an account. You can transfer your gear to them. So I guess it's not considered stolen or anything. You can also report items as stolen in the app. And best of all, it's free.
And
so,
you can did you say take a picture of your serial number?
Yeah, you can take a picture of any serial number in one take. You can look it up. Yeah.
That's going to make me sit here with my phone and my gear out and just go through and do it.
Now I actually probably will put my stuff on lens tag because I've been meaning to do it.
I got an idea.
What's up?
So when we're in the pit and Igor is there and he's got his 600 F4.
Wait, is this the one that you keep messing up the name?
Igor. You know who I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about.
So he's got like the 600 F4, the 400 28. So we should just go up to the serial number, take a picture of it,
put
it in our lens tag database and be like, it's ours. It's mine.
Look, that's what the app says.
The app says it's mine. I'm going home with it. But I guess he has the receipts.
He has his 400-28 on him like all the time.
Well, he hangs the 400-28 off his left arm and he holds the 600 F4 over his right, both with D4s, and then he'll hang a 70-200 on a D4 from his neck.
He's literally got about 50 grand of gear on him
every time
all times.
for all of these paparazzi shows.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What did you say his name was again? Edgar or something?
Edgar. Well, you know where Edgar come from? If you remember Men in Black?
Yeah, I just watched it actually. Again
Okay,
the other
so
day.
you know when they go to the woman's house and she's just like, could I get you some lemonade?
Yeah.
And she's like, sure. And she's like, Edgar.
Her husband?
My husband's name is Edgar. and then Will Smith is like, she's like, you're gonna go shop. You're gonna go get that nasty ass hair done. You're gonna get some makeup. Okay.
Forget about this Edgar guy.
Edgar. They're wearing him like an Edgar suit. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
A new psychological study finds that you can have a good photographic record of an event or a good memory, but not both. Dr. Linda Henkel of Fairfield University in Connecticut conducted the study in which participants toured a campus art museum. Some were assigned to take photos. Others were assigned or asked to simply remember what they saw. Subjects were tested on their memories of the museum a day later. Now, those who took photos scored lower at correctly identifying items from the museum and recalled fewer details versus those who didn't take pictures. Here's a quote from Dr. Henkel to the Telegraph. She basically said, research has suggested that the sheer volume and lack of organization of digital photos for personal memories discourages many people from accessing and reminiscing about them. In order to remember, we have to access and interact with the photos rather than just take them. And so it's pretty interesting stuff.
That makes sense.
It does. It does.
What I will say is that looking back at childhood photos, that when I look back at them that my mom took, I recall, from seeing the images, it triggers the memories in my brain to remember that location, that scene, what it was like, and the memories from it. But if you're just taking snapshots and you're just looking at the back of your phone, so if you're at a concert, you should watch the concert. You'll remember it better.
It's very true. Like when I'm at a show and I'm in the pit and all I'm looking through the entire time is a viewfinder.
Love someone. Yeah.
When I'm just looking through the viewfinder the entire time, when I walk out of that show, I'm like, I feel like I wasn't even there.
I don't know what song they played.
Yeah, I completely forget like almost everything that happened because it's like you're almost like watching a movie through your lens. It's crazy. Moving on, though, we have two more little updates, actually kind of a big update, but it has to do with Twitter and Instagram. Quick update on Twitter. They're hitting at Snapchat after a new update that now allows users to send pictures via direct messages.
Which I would be very careful about.
Yes.
Because if you accidentally tweet your boobs like Haley Williams from Paramore.
They can probably still copy it.
Which I have on my phone, by the way, because I will look at that.
If you Google
Haley Williams boobs, she accidentally tweeted her boobs once when she was legal.
She was supposed to be sending it to her boyfriend. Apparently.
Josh, whatever his name is.
Chad,
whatever. Chad
Kruger.
No, not just Chad Kruger.
The other Chad, Gilbert.
Oh, okay. So anyway, you want to kind of be careful with this.
Yeah. For sure. Now, moving on to a similar subject, also Instagram just announced, actually right before we did this.
Right before we did this, I saw the announcement. I was like, Steven, ding, ding.
Quick, add this.
We got photo news for
you. We should do the ticker during photo news. But they just announced Instagram Direct. It's like sending a direct message on Twitter or sending a personal message on Facebook with a read receipt. Basically, you'll have the option of sending it to all your followers at the top of the app or specific people, whether it's one person or a group of people or whoever. Then you'll see in real time which followers are viewing your photo or video.
And
you can reply to them, comment in real time. It's pretty much kind of like Snapchat, but there's no time limit,
and it doesn't disappear.
And it doesn't disappear. And on top of that, you can comment, which Snapchat obviously you can't.
Right. It's very interesting. It's an evolution of Instagram, which is great to see them evolving. This is another nice option. The only thing that I worry about is I have 16,000 subscribers or followers. I don't want to be bombarded with people sending me unrelated pictures. There's people that will. What am I looking for?
They'll just keep sending you a massive amount of pictures every day.
Or like the person did on Twitter the other day.
Oh, and send you like 6 tweets in a row. 17
tweets in a row of the same one. They're like, can you critique my work? And I'm like, this is how not to get your work critiqued.
I didn't like that either.
And I just was straight up. I'm like, no disrespect. No, I didn't even say no disrespect. I'm like, this is how not to get your work seen.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not going to do this because you interrupt my newsfeed.
And I don't know if he mixed up what you said about the Chase Jarvis thing, because you said you added lines, but he might have thought you tweeted over numerous times, when in reality you just sent one tweet with spaced out.
Basically.
Yeah. I think maybe he mixed that up.
Right. I don't know, but he sent 7 of them.
Yeah. And he's like,
and I was like, stop.
My work. Each one was like a word.
Not going to do it.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Just the principle of it, I won't do it.
Exactly.
But no, there's, I guess it's not, maybe it's Instagram. I don't know. I just don't want to be sent 18 million. Oh, when people tag me in photos that they took that have nothing to do with me, so that I see it. If it has something to do with me, if you tag I Shoot Raw on a shirt or me because you're wearing one of my shirts or one of my straps, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's cool. I love seeing that. But I don't want to see a picture of a butterfly and you tag it like with my name. Because has nothing to do with
Jared.
me.
You're a butterfly.
Yeah, I'm beautiful. Like a butterfly. Christina Aguilera. How's that? Because you are beautiful, no matter what you say. Because words won't bring me down. Oh, no.
I thought you were going to do the... come, my lady, come, my lady.
Because you're a butterfly, sugar, baby. Come, my lady, come, my lady.
Combine both songs.
You're my lady, my...
something like that. Was it Crazy Town?
That's funky. Yes, Crazy Town.
Funky Town.
No, it was Crazy Town. So that's all the news, right? Mm-hmm. I want you to reset the cameras.
It was a good news time this week.
It was good news time. Yeah. Why don't you reset the cameras just so we prepare for the next step? There's one thing I want to tell you guys, and this is not a plug. This is... about the exhibit. We talked about it last week that I wanted to do a photo walk or a meetup at the Constitution Center in Philadelphia. Well, I picked the date, December 29th, which is a Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because we're on the East Coast. How's that doing, Stephen? Good? Doing good. So on December 29th, there is the Pulitzer Prize winning photos. It's a tremendous exhibit that's going on at the Constitution Center. So we're going to meet up there. Get there around 12:30, no later than really 12:45 to purchase your tickets, which are $14.50. You buy it at the box office. I have nothing to do with the ticket price or anything like that. I just figured we would go there, go through the exhibit. If Steven can come, that would be great. If he can. But I think what I plan on doing is at 1 o'clock, we're going to go into the exhibit. If people want to go ahead early and just walk through and see it on their own, that's great. But I think it would be cool to answer questions and have a discussion. I just heard something weird. Have a discussion. Maybe it was my I Shoot Raw blanket that's hanging on the window is going to fall off.
Which we can now switch to that GoPro angle and check it out for people to look at.
Oh,
They should be able to see it from that angle.
Yeah, probably.
There's a giant... Well, do you want to tell them about it?
There's a giant I Shoot Raw blanket because we had light. There's an extra streak of sunlight that comes in between 10:30 and 12.
Yeah.
As the sun rises, it comes right through this window and goes across the table. So I basically used one of the I Shoot Raw blankets, gaff taped it, always have gaff tape, and blocked the light. But anyway,
custom scrim.
December 29th, Constitution Center. You just show up. No need to... I'd love to see you tweet me that you're coming or leave a Facebook message, but... it's $14.50. Viewer discretion is advised because some of the images are very powerful if you want to bring kids, but I think it's cool to have a discussion, walk through there, and go from there. So Steven did his photo news. Are we up to Wheel of Fro?
I think we are, which we're about 45 minutes in, so this actually is going along pretty well.
So we're over an hour and a half, though.
Well, yeah. Right now we're at an hour and a half.
Because I still need to wrap it up.
Yeah, so
at the end.
Probably going to, yeah.
All right. Anyway,
Awesome.
It's time for the Wheel of Fro. Steven.
Yes.
You want to put the Wheel of Fro on the table?
Yeah, we got to.
You can see the Atomos Ninja 2, which are you happy with? Oh, I'm not going to ask you if you're happy with it right now. So you put it there. I'll angle it. You tell me when to stop. I think that's good. All right. I still don't understand this one. The Rode one. Right here. Rode is on this light blue thing.
Yes.
We haven't figured out why. I'm going to ask Atomos. We think it's the camera. The way that the camera is viewing this blue right here, it's showing up as like a green screen thing.
Well, it's either the codec that we're using, which is the DxO HD codec on the Atomos, or it's the actual D800. But I don't. We got to just do a test between both.
We got to ask them. But anyway, on here we have the Rode microphone. Last week's winner, Jimmy Arcade, won a year supply. He won Squarespace for a year. We've got Rode microphone on here. We got Adorama Picks. If you land on the Adorama Picks one, you're going to win a nice photo book credit. Squarespace again for a year. I wonder if because they won it last week, I should take one of them off and make it a question mark.
Yeah, but then you would end up having all question marks by the end.
Or I replace it. Well, I don't know. I'm sure they'll be happy either way.
Something, yeah.
So we got Adorama Picks. We got Think Tank. You got the Fronos Photos Guides. You've got the question mark, which means that the new person can pick whatever they want. And that is it. So this week's contestant is Aaron P. Shutt. He said something along the line of getting a lifetime supply of rice-a-roni and turtle wax. Probably an old game show reference. But I picked Aaron P. Shutt. We are spinning for you. Steven, are you ready for the spin? Did you put your microphone up high? Yeah. All right. I'm going to make this Spinny McSpinnerson go really well.
Ready?
What are you doing?
Do the drum roll?
You're drum rolling? No, you're shaking the table. Stop. You're probably going to shake the camera. All right. Oh, yeah. That's a master spin right there. And around it goes. Where it's going to stop. Who's going to win the Fronos? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. And you win the Flash Guide. Congratulations to you. You are winning a Fronos Photo Beginner Flash Guide.
Very nice.
That doesn't seem as exciting as winning something else.
Why? Because it's your thing?
Because it's my thing. I mean, yeah, it's valued at $67.
Yeah.
Which is still a good value. All right, I'll give you both guides. Now I feel better. I'm giving you both guides. I want to get more people on this wheel.
Yeah,
because I want to give away stuff.
Yeah, because your face is like every other.
Well, it's
thing,
every
right?
other one because I got to get other.
You need more sponsors.
I'll
yeah.
get Black Rapid on here at some point.
You'll probably do it without even asking.
I asked them, so I'm going to get. I think they said yes. I just have to get it on.
That would be cool
there.
to get a strap or something.
Yeah, nice strap from them. I got to put them. You want to remove this?
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Steven. I'm going to call some other companies and see who else is there. I'll talk to. I don't know. Maybe we'll. I think what would be cool is if like Atomos would give away a Ninja.
That would be cool, but it's pretty expensive.
But it would be like a sliver of a square of one of the spots.
Oh, like a really
so
tiny?
It'd be like the $10,000 spot on Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
It would be like a smaller thing.
That's cool.
So
yeah.
it has to be. We'll draw the line, and if it's there, then they could win the Atomos or something. And that wouldn't apply if you get the question mark.
Would we have to add a little another nubber thing?
A nubber? No, it would just have to stop there.
Oh, that's tough.
Right, and outside the line would be like you lose everything, lose a turn.
Yeah, that would be.
Would
good.
that be crazy? So maybe I'll find some sponsors who want to really pony up something big, and we'll like, you got to hit this space.
The Rode Classic 2.
Yeah, the Rode Classic 2.
Playing for a $4,000 microphone.
I'll talk him into it. No, because I want it. Never mind.
Yeah.
We'll make it like a sliver. It's got to be like 1 inch.
That would be cool.
And if you land within that inch,
especially without the nubber thing,
imagine that. That would be cool.
That would be.
That one stopped right in the middle.
Yeah.
So you could stop right in the middle. So that's Wheel of Fro right there, Aaron P. Shutt. So, guys, I'm going to pick these differently each week. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but definitely keep tweeting me at Fronos Photo. But make sure it's like, hey, at Fronos Photo, so that everybody sees it. Use the link to fronosphoto.com/podcast. So when you do tweet it out, it helps me. Other people get to see it. Oh, you know what I would like you to do, actually? When you tweet with it, I want to know which prize do you want to win. If you could win any prize on the wheel, what would it be? And then if you still have space, let me know what would you like to see on the wheel. If you want, this is good. What do you want to win? And you could do this on Facebook too. What do you want to win? What would you like to see on the wheel? And if there were whoppers, like question marks, like have Jared do something or have Steven do something.
Oh, God.
What would you like it to be? So think of these good things. Hashtag Wheel of Fro. Make sure it's hey at Frono's Photo. And then go to town, Funky Town, and make it happen.
That's good. I like that idea.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
And then plus, if they hit the question mark, we can at least say what they're going to get for people not to be wondering.
Right.
You know?
Right. You're right.
Yes,
well, we
we'll
would
know
say it
ahead of
next week.
time.
But yeah, that would be cool. The secret things. I would love to do that. Oh,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to say what I'm going to buy. I sent you what I'm going to buy.
Oh,
I think
yes.
that's going to be how we're going to pick like a winner, or so. That's how we're going to pick the person to be on the Wheel of Fro. So there would be like 8 names across the bottom, and then we'll drop it, and then whichever one it lands in, that person is the player. So I would have 8 names across the bottom, and then you replace their name next week with somebody else's, so the other people stay up on the board.
I was wondering how you were going to incorporate that. That
was my dad's idea. At first, I thought we could just do it for prizes, which we could. But then I was like, I know everybody's at home like, what are you talking about? How are we doing with
We're still good.
This is good because you reset it. No, so he's like, you know what? You should put different names at the bottom, and then when it lands there, that's the person that plays that week. I was like, awesome. I still have to have my dad on. Maybe when I get back, maybe next Thursday, we can do one. I guess we could do one at night.
He can talk about how you started everything at his house and how you run the
there's a lot of
store
stuff
out of the
you can talk
basement and all
about.
that. Yeah.
No, that's funny. Those stories. He's like he helped me once. I did my 30th birthday giveaway, and that was like, so it was June, July, August, September, October, November, December. It was about 7 months into the site launching, and I had 3 color shirts, and I did a $30 special for my birthday. So I sold like 50 or 60 orders during that day or something. Maybe it was 73 orders. I don't know. And I sat and I hand wrote every single envelope when I was still doing those. Hand wrote them. Then my dad helped me pick the sizes. I folded each one. I put it into the envelope. I sealed it. Took it over to the post office. And I have a picture of it because
an all-day process.
Well, yeah. Well, it was a lot of hours. I spent my time doing that. I did all of the packing. So I took a picture of it with the 14 mil, where I used a 60 millimeter fisheye, where it had all of the packages on the ground lined up with all of the shirts that were going in that specific package.
That's cool.
So you could see it. It covered the whole basement floor, and then I would go through and I would fill the packages and I would seal them up, and then take them over to the post office and stand there in line while everybody else waited, because the post office was only put one person on the window because they were trying to save money. So they were losing money because people were walking out because I was the one taking it 45 minutes away, and people would look at me weird. I'm like, hey, but now we ship it at home.
Yeah.
We don't worry about
Much
that.
easier.
So coming up right now, we have an interview with Dave Leno. He is a young sports announcer, like we said earlier on. He's 24 years old, but he is moving up in the ranks. He's got an agent, kind of like having a photo agent as well at a young age, but it's an agent that's going to help him get the gigs. He, on his own, got the U.S. Open gigs, different sports gigs, announcing, Big Ten Network, ESPN3. Enjoy this interview. I know it's not photography based, but tie the things that he's saying into photography. And don't get freaked out when I throw him a card across the table for him to do a live read. We throw a couple of those in there just to hear what he has to say. So if you're at home wondering what's going on, that's what happens when he's doing a show. They'll tap him on the shoulder and be like, all right, you got a live read in 2, 1, go. And they hand him the card, and he just has to do it on the fly. He's great. Amazing. Great young guy. DaveLeno.com. Enjoy this interview.
And he's got something coming up too. Did we talk about that?
I said that earlier.
Oh, you did. Just kidding.
So again, enjoy this interview.
Coming up on our next segment, Jared Polin interviews up-and-coming sports play-by-play announcer Dave Leno about his path in the biz and how to overcome all the obstacles and taste success. Here's Jared.
What obstacles and how does success really taste?
Pretty good.
And now I just want to be an announcer voice. I'm going to be like, hello, it's Jared Polin. It's like, it's Mark Howard. I told my Mark Howard stories. He used to call the camera store because he's a photographer. So you would call and you'd be like, hello, it's Mark Howard. And I was like, hello, Mark Howard. How are you? But anyway, so Dave, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me here.
No problem. So I am a little older than Dave. How old are you now?
24.
I'm a lot older than Dave. I knew Dave from the baseball days out of Little League Field. CC1 is where we played. But the reason I have an announcer on, a broadcaster, a guy like Dave who's 24, is because he is in a position that's, I think he's much further ahead than a lot of people who are trying to do what he's doing. And it's his hard work, it's his ethic, it's the interning, it's the doing what it takes, the preparation, everything that goes into being successful at a career. And I think what he's going to talk about, you can translate into photography, videography, into pretty much anything, because there are no secrets to how to be successful. And we're just going to hear what Dave has done in his young 24 years to allow him to get onto the Big Ten Network, ESPN 3. Have you been on anything other than ESPN 3, like ESPN 2?
I hope in due time. Not yet.
So talk about, you started. When did you get the idea that you wanted to be an announcer?
I think it generated probably middle school to high school age. I've always been in front of people, been very comfortable public speaking. I used to be in plays when I was younger and stuff, and I've always been a sports guy. I was the lead in Unsinkable Molly Brown. I was Leadville Johnny Brown, by the way. And my picture is still on the wall in that elementary school.
What school?
Richboro Elementary.
Oh, see, I didn't go to Richboro. I went to Holland.
Yeah, it's still there. Look a little bit different today.
Were you a pudgy kid?
Yes, I would say that. But deceptively athletic, and still am today.
I love your use of adjectives and everything that you throw in there. You have to do that.
Of course.
I'm just saying.
You have to embellish a little bit, Jared.
Yeah.
No, so it really started in middle school, high school age. I think I was announcing in 8th grade a faculty men's basketball game where the faculty played the students, and I was the PA guy with the slick back hair. Like when I was 13, I did not. But now, now it's kind of protocol. But always dress for success, by the way. And from then on, it just got to the point where I wanted to be involved in sports in some capacity. And I think everybody realizes this at broadcast. You ask a lot of people in the business that, when they feel like, okay, you're not going to be a professional athlete, how do you stay in the sport? Do you go to sports information? Do you go coaching? Do you go behind the scenes? Are you equipment manager? Or that sort of thing. But I wanted to project on air, and I wanted to, I have a very vivacious attitude, another adjective for you. And I love talking to people, and I love, interacting with others.
Well, that's good. Oh, I love how you finished your sentence and you threw it back to me. You have great etiquette on the microphone, Dave. No, it's cool because I know that you were like a 12-year-old kid coming out to the baseball field announcing the 12-year-old states that were happening and whatever.
Right.
You would do it. You didn't have your announcer's voice yet. But so from an early age, you knew this was a direction you wanted to go. So how did you decide on a college to go to and a field to study?
Well, I was coming out of high school, I was one of those kids where a little bit of unusual case. I kind of knew what I wanted to do, whereas I think most kids go into college with an open mind and they experiment a little bit.
Experiment with what, Dave?
A lot of different avenues that probably we don't want to mention on air.
Speaking of, we got to live read.
Big Ten Women's Soccer is presented by Pure Silk Shave Cream. Soothing aloe plus fabulous moisturizers help your legs look and feel like pure silk.
Boom. Nice. So you went to what school?
I went to Indiana University in Bloomington.
And that is a big broadcasting?
It's a big journalism school. I wouldn't classify it as a big broadcasting school like Fordham or Syracuse, but there is a big athletic department, and that really drew me in because it was a huge school, and I saw some opportunity to get involved on and off campus.
Yeah. Is there a specific sport that you enjoyed announcing more than another, or you enjoy?
Well, at Indiana, I got involved from the student station, and then it kind of morphed to the athletic department side. I'll never forget this story. I called a football game, an Indiana Northwestern football game in the press box, and I think I was either a freshman or sophomore. And there was no separate booth for the students. So we're calling the game in the press box with all these writers who have been there, whatever. So they hear everything I'm saying. And I'm pretty loud on air, and I'm pretty into the game, whether it's good or bad. And I think the game ended with a fumble recovery. Indiana got it, and I said something like, and I don't script any of my calls. It's just spontaneous. And
which is great.
Yeah, you shouldn't script your calls. I don't like cliches. I don't like using even the word unbelievable on air. If it's unbelievable, why did it happen? That sort of thing. So I think I said something to the effect of, oh, and this game is signed, sealed, and delivered. And I had the whole press box laughing, and I was like, I don't know if they're laughing at me or with me. But anyway, it was just, I went after that game. A lot of people came up to me and said, hey, you did a nice job. So it was okay. Didn't think anything of it. In the summer, I was working for the Camden River Sharks that year, independent league baseball team just across the Ben Franklin Bridge from Philly in the Jersey area. And I got a call going into a Wawa that said, hey, do you want to help bolster the Olympic sports programs that I use, starting with volleyball? Would you like to call volleyball? Do you have any experience? I said, sure. I grew up playing volleyball on the beaches of Ocean City, Maryland, or watching people that are much better than I am.
All I hear, who's your idol when it comes to this?
Well, there's several idols. Al Michaels, Bob Costas, those types of guys.
Because I hear Bob Costas coming out of you nonstop. Yeah. It's always these stories from Sea Isle City to the streets.
I'm a storyteller.
Well, but that's great. You paint pictures in people's minds. Just don't be Jim Lampley.
He's very good on boxing.
He's very good on boxing.
Very good.
Don't be that Gray. What was his name? Who asked
Jim Gray.
Jim Gray is the worst.
Very good interviewer, though. You can't be afraid.
Yeah, but what he did to Pete
ask
Rose
the tough questions.
It's one thing to ask the tough questions, and it's another thing to ask it 12 times.
Sure. Well, there's a time and place for everything, too.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, so I walked into a Wawa. I think I was grabbing a chicken parm sandwich at the time. And
storytelling.
Of course, yeah. Some sour cream and onion chips. Anyway, they were baked, by the way. And I got a call from the IU athletics department that said, hey, would you like to broadcast some volleyball? And I think that really set me up to where I am right now.
Well, before you got to that, when you get to school, what is the first step? Do you walk into the sports athletic department and say, hey, I want to announce games?
No.
What is the process to go ahead and get seen so that you can be up in the booth announcing that student game?
Well, you got to have the confidence first to walk in the door to somebody, knock on somebody's door that you don't know, and say, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I want to get involved. How do I get involved? I'm that type of guy where I'm a go-getter. So I went to the student television station. I went to the radio station. In fact, I think my parents were still on campus with me in Bloomington, and they drove me to the little radio station, this rinky-dink house on 8th Street, I believe.
What's the call letters?
Bloomington. WIUX FM, Bloomington, 99.1. And they drove me, and I did an update, and there were these, I think, juniors and seniors, these upperclassmen that were there, and here's this, freshman coming in and, has a, deep voice on air, whatever, and they kind of looked at me and go, wow, you're not bad. I said, no, thank you very much. I did my update. I left, didn't think anything of it. And then, I got some more opportunities through that medium to get on air, did some student television stuff, then kind of climbed the ranks a little bit.
So you paid your dues. But you also were the preparation that you've done. Like, did you sit in front of the TV at home with a tape recorder recording games like you were calling them?
Not recording myself, but I still do it to this day. I turn down the sound, or even with the sound on, and I record the game, because keep in mind, especially when I'm on TV now, I'm calling the game spontaneously off of a monitor, or, whether it's in front of me, you concentrate on that, but you also have to look at the program monitor, what the people are seeing at home as well. So it's back and forth, and it's good practice actually to call it from home, and I still do that, and I'm not ashamed to say that.
Does your dad sit there?
Of course.
And what is he, your color man?
He just sits there and marvels, I think, what I'm doing. And then he'll chime in from time to time.
Dave, I don't think he saw that puck go into the net.
Then I tell him, oh, boy, Bob, you're not the best color man for nothing, man. Something like that.
Well, I mean, that's cool. I mean, it's like with photography. You go out and you shoot, you practice, and you are practicing your trade by sitting there and calling games. I mean, and how do you keep your voice fresh?
Try not to yell on air. I think from the beginning, a lot of younger people, I think this is one of the biggest mistakes. A lot of people tend to get into it a little too much. I was certainly one of them, maybe from the get-go. I wouldn't say Gus Johnson-ish, a guy who's a real screamer, but I would definitely get into it, and I've learned to kind of tame that enthusiasm a little bit. So I obviously, drink a lot. This I Shoot Raw sports drink really helping me through this interview.
How many grams of protein are in that I Shoot Raw drink?
I think 30.
That's a lot of protein.
That is. I need it. And but drinking a lot of tea, especially when listen, I've called games when I'm sick and I have no voice, and I would just stock up on some tea and
Throat coat.
Yeah, but honestly, Jared, it's just trying to pick your spots when you broadcast a game. If you don't scream throughout the whole game, you're still gonna have your voice by the end. But if you're getting into it, like I did when Indiana went to the Sweet 16, when they beat Tennessee in 5 sets, I was sick leading up into the Sweet 16 match, and I was very unhappy with myself.
So you're pretty hard on yourself as well.
Very, very critical. Like that saying, you're your own worst critic.
So when it comes to tapes that you've done, you have your website, which is daveleno.com.
Correct.
You have a bunch of basically your portfolio up there. I want to get you a sports podcast one day. When somebody is critiquing you, when a producer, an ESPN producer is critiquing you, what are they looking for? What do they say? What are some things that they pointed out to you that you were like, I never thought of that, but that will make me a better announcer?
I think one of the biggest criticisms I've gotten on air, and I'm not afraid to say this because I love constructive criticism, and as you know, we talked about this many times, I'm always looking to improve, is that I have to slow down a little bit on air. They look at my presentation, how I interact with my analysts. Everybody points out that I really have a good rapport with the person I'm calling the game with. And I think I take a lot of pride in that, Jared, because I broadcast a lot of games with new commentators that I don't have a prior relationship with. And to show people on air, whether it's on TV or through radio, that I have chemistry with that person, that's really something special, I think.
Sure. Yeah. How we doing, Steven? You awake? You good? I know I'm not even bringing Steven into the game. Not yet. What else did I write? So sports. What sports did you play growing up?
Baseball, basketball, soccer, volleyball, tennis, and of course, don't forget bowling.
So you're a student of the games.
Yes. I'm the kind of kid that plays and played everything. I wasn't necessarily the best athlete at everything.
Well, you're Jewish.
But I take pride in that as well. Sure.
Really? I didn't know we could jump.
My dad ran a 5.650. No, he ran a 5.7. His brother Stan ran a 5.650.
Wait, that's slow, right?
No, that's fast.
Wait,
a 5.6 and a 5.7 50-yard dash.
Well, I'm thinking of 40. I'm thinking of the combine.
Yeah, not 40. I'm talking 50-yard dash. But that speed didn't pass down to me. But short distance, I can move a little bit.
So bowling.
Yeah.
What did you do? Were you like all state?
Sort of. I was on. I think I was ranked after junior year. I think I finished like in the final ranking 16th in the state of Pennsylvania bowling,
which is pretty good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really had fun.
When did you bowl your first 300?
April 22nd, 2007. I was wearing a number 22. The number 22 is significant. I was wearing a number 22 Deuce Staley jersey, played for the Philadelphia Eagles, also on the coaching staff. And if you add up the 5 digits at my birthday, 11389, they equal 22.
Wow, Dave. How many 300s have you thrown?
3.
And is it it's exciting every time, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm a pretty emotional person. I'm very competitive, so the people that know me very well understand that there's a lot of fist pumps when I bowl. When I get the 6th strike in the row, I do a little ice skater where I put my hands behind my back, and I'm pretty loud. And it's cool when you bowl a 300. Your stomach's going around in knots, whatever. And
I can't imagine.
Everybody's just going crazy there.
I don't know if the most I've ever thrown is 7 in a row. Now I'll tell you out there, I love bowling with Dave. The reason I love bowling with Dave is because he's so damn good that I have to up my game. And I bowl better when I'm bowling Dave.
He always beats me. Full disclosure there.
Not every time.
Usually beats me.
Well, you also give me some tips like straighten your back, bend your knees, keep
Follow
your back
through like you're flipping somebody off. Now, did you know that I actually taught bowling at Indiana?
No.
I was one of the younger professors on campus. I had an A parking pass, and I taught about, I don't know, maybe 12, 13 sections of bowling before even I went to class junior and senior year. It was pretty cool.
So what I hear when Dave speaks here is straight up storytelling. It's the same thing that I talk about when it comes to taking photos. Are these cameras good? Are we not past 20 minutes yet? I'm supposed to rely on Steven and not get angry. I know he hates when I ask him things. It's storytelling. Dave has all of these experiences. He's well studied, so he understands different parts and aspects of the games and the stories behind people and their stats. We're going to talk about these spotting boards in a second. But do you hear that? How everything he says paints a picture in your mind? And we're taking pictures to show people. Now, if you tell people or show people a photo story that visually encapsulates something and it just resonates in their mind, they can paint the picture, because we're not showing them videos, we're showing them still images from one image to the next image. For instance, you take a wedding, you've got the getting ready, you've got the pre-wedding stuff, you've got the first look to coming down the aisle. You're creating emotion, and Dave has to do this with stories, and I think he does a fantastic job. So talk about these spotting boards, because explain a spotting board, because I don't really know what it is.
A spotting board is just your typical notes for calling a game. So on this particular one, I have Villanova against NJIT. And I have names, numbers, their height, weight, where they went to high school, or if they're a transfer, where they went to a different college. And then on this side of the column, I have notes on a particular guy.
For anybody listening at home, you can check it out on the video.
That's right. Like, for example, Ryan Arcidiacono. I was one of the first guys who called one of his games, and a lot of announcers couldn't even pronounce his last name, Arcidiacono. And, I have Big East Rookie of the Week, those sort of things. So it's just stories like that. Now, a lot of things, Jared, you got to keep in mind. I do a lot of preparation. Broadcasters have all these elaborate notes. They come in many different forms. They come like this. If I'm pressed for time, I'll write them on some manila folders like so. I think here's a volleyball one with Western Kentucky. But I don't really look at this stuff too much. The game is the most important thing. What you see in front of you is what the fans care about, not about some story about Jared Polin going to the mall in 5th grade and buying a soda. That's not the most important thing. Now, if you can relate some of those stories in a timely fashion on air, that's when they come important.
So what am I looking at here? Penn State soccer?
I believe so. Now, that's a different spotting board there. That was a unique one.
Yeah.
I think I called that game from the studios in Chicago. Actually, you know what? I take that back. This is field hockey. This is Penn State field hockey. Very good team. I think they won the Big Ten championship that year.
I prefer volleyball players, because these girls, I'm spotting boards. I'm looking for dates, but I'm not really sure. Well, all these girls have blonde hair. What is that like? Except for that girl, number 33. Amanda Dinzenzino. How do you get names right, Dave? You go and ask them?
That, or you look on their website for pronunciation guide and their game notes.
Yeah.
And that... The best is when an athletic website has, here's a technology thing for all your viewers. If you're on a website and you click on somebody's name, you highlight their name, and they have a little microphone icon where you click on it and you hear the girl or the guy saying their last name, perfect. But I think Minnesota might be the only school who does that.
That sounds good. Talk about, interning. How did you get your first gigs? How did you get your foot in the door at radio stations? To get certain gigs.
Yeah, I interned at WIP in Philadelphia, a prominent sports talk radio station, and how I got in there was just kept asking, hey, are there any opportunities? And, after, being ignored a little bit, and then finally someone saying, hey, we'll get back to you. I went in for an interview, and I was very fortunate. They offered it to me on the fly. But that, you got to understand, you're not going to, when you first start where you intern at big places, you're not going to get on air. You're basically shadowing, essentially. But the thing with that gig that was special is I got credentialed to go down to Philadelphia Phillies games in 2008. That was the year they won the World Series, of course. And I got to just sit in the press box, grab audio after the game, go back to the station at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, upload it, go back home, take an hour's sleep, get back in time for the morning show at 6, 7 o'clock. So... again, there's a lot of sacrifices. You're not going out and partying. Instead, you're, having fun and, going to a baseball game and then, talking with the media members. That's sort of your entertainment. But I really enjoyed it, and I think that really helped me moving forward and to get some great experience.
Yes. Oh, that's what it was. I heard that.
So from WIP, I went to the Camden River Sharks. And I got some good training under my belt through the Flyers radio announcer, Tim Saunders. He was a great mentor.
He shoots it scars!
Tim really gets into it. I love Tim. He's a little bit higher than that, but
He shoots it scars!
I think you got it there. Tim's a great announcer, and that was a lot of fun because in the independent league, they cover a lot of ex-major leaguers. Ex-major leaguers come into the independent league, into the Atlantic League, which I consider is the highest form of independent ball. You get a lot of AA, AAA level guys, according to a lot of the scouts. So you see a lot of named guys like a Jock Jones, Jose Canseco, Ricky Henderson was in that league. And so from then on, I went to Indiana, and from IU, after getting in with the athletics department, the Big Ten Network started, and I got involved with the Big Ten Network on TV. They asked me to do, I'll never forget, Jared, a field hockey game at 21 years old. Indiana versus Ohio State. I knew nothing about field hockey. Amy Robertson, the head coach of Indiana, went to her office and said, hey, can you help me learn the game?
So you're asking mentor or people that know. It's
Sure.
the same thing with photography. You need to learn something about it. You go and you find somebody who knows what they're talking about, and you get edumacated.
Exactly. And the Big Ten Network had confidence in me that I could broadcast sports well, especially the Olympic sports. And field hockey, I knew the nuances, but I really wanted to learn the true intangibles, kind of be that so-called expert. So Coach Robertson was very nice, gave me some Olympic DVDs. Hey, listen to this broadcaster called the Olympics. And 4 weeks later, did a good job, I think. And
So that was on TV.
that was on TV in Bloomington on the Big Ten Network. 2 weeks later, the Big Ten Network called and said, all right, you're going to do an Indiana-Michigan men's soccer game, which Indiana men's soccer won their 8th national title last year. Unfortunately, got bounced out of the first round to Akron this go-around, but very prominent program, and that was kind of a big deal. I mean, on a Saturday night, I'm doing college soccer, and we're going up against college football on ABC ESPN.
Sure. So how does the ESPN thing come about?
Sure. So from then on, I got some Big Ten experience. I had some good TV stuff, and I just kept sending material to ESPN.
So you took the approach of sending it to them.
Right.
You didn't just wait. And because you can't wait and make
No.
you had to make it happen.
And you don't, and here's the big thing. You don't go in and say, oh, I want to call football, men's basketball. I sent my stuff to ESPN, and I was saying, maybe someone will give me a critique. Hey, what? And when I approach, it's very important when you network. For young broadcasters out there or for young photographers, you don't go into someone and say, oh, I want to broadcast this. I want to broadcast that. You say yes to every opportunity and just go at it. And what I say is, hey, my name's so-and-so. This is what I've done in the past. I'm just looking for someone to critique me. And what do you think about my work? And where do you think I can go with this? What do I need to improve upon?
Are these paying gigs or are they free gigs?
Well, for the ESPN
When you
stuff,
started out.
Well, when I started out, a lot of the times they were free. Now, for the Big Ten Network stuff, I got paid for that. But I still go, Jared, to this day. I went down to do Penn Dartmouth. I didn't get paid for it. I knew somebody in the communications office at Penn. They allowed me to come down. I was doing it just for demo purposes because I wanted to bolster my football calls.
It's, in essence, your portfolio.
Right.
So you're doing what it takes. You wanted to get better at football, so you went down to a game.
And it
permission.
turned out it was the longest Ivy League football game. Went 4 overtimes. Penn beat Dartmouth. Longest game in Ivy League history.
Yeah.
And I went down. I didn't get paid for it, but I got some great clips out of it.
And that's the same thing with photography. You get access. Sometimes you're not going to get paid to go do jobs. You just use some of it as portfolio builders, which can be important. And that's what you did there. So what's the goal with ESPN here?
The goal is obviously to get some more games on the freelance level, so I get paid on a per game basis. But the money, Jared, is not important to me. What's more important
Yeah, you live at home.
Is the exposure, right?
Well, I lived at home until I was 29.
Well,
28.
Hopefully
29.
Hopefully I get that big package soon enough where, all right, we're going to give Dave 30 games calling Big East basketball, or we're going to give Dave 20 games doing SEC basketball on Tuesday nights.
So you're looking. So right now, ESPN 3 is on the internet,
correct?
At which it's still run like it's a regular show.
Yes, they're produced the same way as an ESPNU show and an ESPN2 show. From what I understand, which is phenomenal. The graphics, you're on camera, you have the statistician next to you, you have a stage manager.
So they'll throw you something like a tease copy and say, do it.
Right. So before the game, they would just throw me a tease and say, we're going to pre-record this. And they'll say, ready, Dave, roll red, track red, and go. Over the past 2 years, Illinois has been nothing short of stellar at home. Today, the club hopes to defend its home field against surging Wisconsin. It's the Badgers against the Fighting Illini. Big Ten women's soccer. is next.
How did you get the Philly out of your voice? Because you still have some of it. I hear it from time, like when I listen to your calls. Because when you put them up, I take a listen to them and let you know what I think, and I send them to my dad to let you know what he thinks.
Of course.
And how did you? I mean, do they ever say anything like you sound too Philly?
No, I haven't gotten that. When I get into it, and when I'm on the microphone, people say, "Oh, do you fake your voice?" The answer is no. I project more. You know, from singing, from your diaphragm, I'm a little louder. Therefore, my voice level goes a little bit down. My tone goes a little bit lower. But you don't hear the Philly in me. If you talk to me off camera and I talk a little bit, a smaller voice, you can maybe get that Philly out of me. But I think the big thing is, someone told me that the best accent to have is like the Midwest accent, and I was in Indiana for 4 years, and you would say tournament instead of tournament. Like here, I'll say tournament. When I'm on air, I'll say tournament. Say water. I say water no matter what. Vacuum sweeper.
Vacuum sweeper. What's a vacuum sweeper?
So we say vacuum here. Some people in Indiana say sweeper.
Oh, what do you say? Hero, submarine, or sandwich?
I say
hoagie.
Sandwich. Hoagie. We say hoagie here. They don't say hoagie out there.
No, they don't say hoagie out there.
No.
So do you change your call depending on who's playing?
No, of course not.
You just do your thing.
I am who I am. There's nothing. I'm very genuine. There's nothing fake about me. Every announcer that I hear on ESPN or ABC or NBC, they all sound a little bit different. There's guys that have more of that come from the South and have Southern twang. But it's very important to note, if you're somebody out there who has an accent, I advise strongly, if it's really thick, you got to get rid of it. Especially if you want to go. If you want to be a regional announcer and just be in that market. Or you go down to Alabama, Arkansas, you can have that Southern accent. But if you go up top to the national level, that might not work.
You're big into tennis.
I am.
And you picked up the U.S. Open gig this year.
Yeah.
You were on what was it, usopen.org?
And Sirius, it actually simulcasts on Sirius XM too.
How did that gig come about?
Well, I teach tennis on the side. And I knew a few people that used to be involved with the United States Tennis Association. So I always wondered, I knew that they did some radio stuff, but I didn't know to what extent. So I inquired blindly, and I said, this is what I've done in the past. I freelance with a couple of these TV networks, have some radio experience. I'm a tennis guy, playing a lot of tournaments, and I play a lot for fun. How can I get involved? Didn't hear anything for 3 months. Then finally I get a call from a guy that said, hey, can you meet me at Princeton University? We're going to interview the women's tennis coach. Then I want to talk to you about maybe a potential opportunity. Then long story short, I got a call. It said, all right, we're going to have you for the 15 days, which was absolutely a blast.
Now, was that a paying gig?
That was.
Slightly paying, but they didn't take care of a hotel yet.
No, I commuted, and everybody thought I was crazy. And I have friends in the city, and everybody thinks I'm nuts. But the thing was, I got done so late at night, so I would take the train back to Penn Station, the Long Island Railroad, or took the 7 train from Queens, from the grounds, which is right across from the Met Stadium. And I would go back to Penn Station, then get it home probably at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, be up at 6, get on the train from our area.
You should have just sat on the 7 train and gone to sleep.
That's okay. Honestly, Jarrett, but there again, so I lost a lot of money out on the deal from the travel, but it wasn't about the money. It was about the experience. That's what it all comes down to.
Have they signed you up for next year yet?
I hope so. I don't. It's a long way away, and it's only a 15-day extravaganza. But listen. I got rewarded. Important to note here, I didn't get brought on to do play-by-play. They have guys that do a great job that have been doing that. I got brought on to help out with a 4 p.m. show, help with some show prep with these 2 tennis writers, but they could really take care of themselves. And I also was brought on to be a sideline reporter. I go to Court 7 and say, oh, Juan Monaco is playing Florian Meyer, and I would do maybe some play-by-play, but also give an update. Hey, we're in the second set. Right. Tennis fans are crazy.
No,
man.
they're a bunch of whiny bitches, to put it mildly. Like, I'm walking there, I'm like, Dad! But I know not to be a dick during play. I get that. But it's so over the top how, I
was walking around the second level, and someone's cell phone went off, and I thought people were going to kill this lady. When her cell phone went off, people were like, are you crazy? Turn that freaking thing off. But again, going back to what I was saying, though, I got brought on to be a sideline reporter, did some updates.
Ding, 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 ding. Intermission billboards.
The Sun Belt Conference Volleyball Championship is being brought to you by Golden Flake, the South's original potato chip, and Hot Springs Convention and Visitors Bureau. Hot Springs, Arkansas, America's first resort and proud home of the Sun Belt men's and women's basketball championships.
I challenge them on that first resort thing. I don't know that that's true.
But the reason why Jared's handing me these cards on the fly, and this is a good thing, because when I do a broadcast, a producer will say in my ear, all right, Dave, you're going to read card number 3, and a stage manager is going to hand that to me on the fly. Or sometimes the producer won't say it to me. They'll say it to the stage manager, and I got to quickly have to segue from whether I'm talking about a story from a spotting board or someone's at a free throw line and I'm interacting with my color analyst, and I have to... He says, all right, read this. He'll say the graphic comes up. All right, read this Hot Springs, Arkansas thing, and just go with it. So adjusting on the fly, it's time management. It's very difficult. And I had to do that a lot at the U.S. Open. There was a lot of time management where I went from sideline reporter, actually got rewarded, I think, to do play-by-play of the 3 doubles matches. I called the men's doubles, women's, and the mixed from the booth high atop Arthur Ashe Stadium, which was wonderful. And here I'm doing doubles on the radio, heard nationally. It was absolutely a blast, and I can't wait to do it again, hopefully.
Your ultimate goal?
Ultimate goal is to be a mainstay on network TV or radio as a play-by-play guy, whether it's for a professional team or one of those aforementioned networks.
So you currently have, you picked up an agent?
I did. Yes, and that's great. And the way we're approaching it is they're a new resource for me. They have ins and connections that I don't have, and at this stage in the game, they can open doors that I can't myself. So I think in time, as I get more experience, as my tape continues to improve, I think we're going to get a lot of bites. I really do.
Yeah, and I definitely think that we've talked about online things, having you do a podcast weekly type of thing like that, and that's just bolsters your credibility. Because what could happen is you start a sports podcast and you do your 15-minute segments. You do 4 of them or 12-minute segments with a monologue and things like that. And then you never know that somebody who's in the know is sitting there listening to you and just waiting for an opportunity to say, oh, something just opened up, because they listen to you and you become the person that they listen to in the car or on the train or things like that. That's the importance of just doing work and putting it out there. Do you think it benefits you to put your calls up on your site?
Absolutely. And not only do I put it on my website, I put it on my Facebook, Twitter. I want, even if you're not in the business, I like when people just rate my friends, or they can be my foes, come up to me and say, Dave, I like this call, but I don't like it. But I really take criticism to heart. Okay. Again, constructive criticism is great. And I like to learn from people. Hey, what did you like about this call? Or what didn't you like about this stanza in the game? So I post it everywhere because, again, like you said, it's the exposure. It's also getting critiqued. And also, mainly it promotes yourself. And I want to get my name out there where people say, hey, this Dave Leno guy, he's an up-and-coming play-by-play guy. Let's give him a shot. He's done some great things in the past.
And you never know with somebody seeing it on Facebook who you know, and then they go ahead and post it or comment on it, and then somebody that you didn't know who's in their inner circle sees it and knows somebody else who works for Joe Buck, and then they listen to it and go, you know what? Let me call this kid up, see if he wants to come out here and I don't have money to pay him right now, but see if he wants to run and get my coffee.
Exactly.
Skip Carey's so bad.
Yeah, but Jared, another thing.
Formerly.
Well, the Carey family, that's
a legacy.
That's a historic name right there.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you do some calls like some people?
No.
No, like imitations. I know you used to imitate Merrill Reese.
I used to imitate Merrill Reese.
Yeah, can you pull that out now, or you don't have
it? Yeah, sure. It is first and 10 of the Eagles' 15. Back goes Vic, pumping, looking, firing, and the pass is complete to Selleck. That's a first down for the Eagles. You're listening to the Eagles Radio Network, presented by PNC for the Achiever and You on Sports Radio 94 WIP.
If you know Merrill Reese, the Eagles radio announcer, it sounds somewhat like it.
It sounds just like that. And then Mike Quick would be in the background just doing whatever Mike Quick does in the background. But no, that's spot on. That is spot on. So you want to get a gig. You want to what is your dream gig? If you had to pick anything in the world to be your job day in and day out, what would it be?
I think I want to broadcast either one of the biggest games, whether it's the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, Major League Baseball World Series, or even the Olympics one day on national television or radio. That's the ultimate goal, is to be at the mountaintop. Those jobs might not happen because the guys you see on air today, are probably going to be there when I grow in the business. What will be available are these new regional sports outlets where a lot of these conferences are starting new TV networks, and that's where, for a guy like me who has the TV experience already, I can probably slide into one of those positions, hopefully, in the near future.
Sport? Is there a particular sport?
No, and that's the thing with me, Jared, that makes me marketable is, don't ever turn down a gig. I'm a guy, if you told me today, go call a high school field hockey game, I'd do it. I went down and did two high school field hockey soccer. Didn't get paid much. It was for PIAA for Pennsylvania high schools. I had a blast. I loved it. In the rickety old press boxes, it was just fun,
Yeah.
And you're just calling the game yourself. You have no help. It's not like you're doing an ESPN or a Big Ten or a Comcast game. There's not a lot of support there.
Sure.
So you just go down there and have a blast with it and do what you can with the information you have.
Yeah. Microphones.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Not do you have any, but you were using the Rhodes right now.
I love the Rhodes. Wait, can we bring in this Rode 12-day giveaway here? The Rode 12-day Christmas giveaway,
All right,
mind
hold
you?
on. Dave has a Rode. I guess it's a spot. Would it be called a spot?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Dave. Let me throw the
promo.
Wait. How can I lead into a spot?
Why don't you say now? Let's go to the second member of our broadcast team, Dave Leno, with a Rode preview.
And now let's go to the second member of our broadcast team. We've got Dave Leno with a preview of something for you.
Thank you very much, Jared. Rhodes 12-day Christmas giveaway starting Friday the 13th. And keep in mind, I was born on Friday the 13th. Very special day. 12 mics in 12 days. Post something creative like your best rock star post. No selfie. That's not good. You could also win a $4,000 Classic 2. What's a Classic 2?
A Classic 2 from my friend Walt Lafty in Silvertide told me that he's always wanted a Classic 2. It is this expensive recording microphone for musicians. So I'm going to see if they'll send me one, not to keep. I mean, if they want me to keep it, I'll totally keep it. And I want to do a video where I get Walt in here and we get a bunch of different microphones from Rode and we just have him sing into all of them, and then we do some kind of comparison just to show people what the difference between a $4,000 mic and a $100 mic, and then see what we can do. But they're doing the 12-day giveaway. It's already up and running, so check out their Facebook page and just look for what they ask you to do. If it's put up your best rock star pose, then go ahead and try that. You could win some cool stuff.
What I love about these Rode microphones, too, and I know Steven works at a radio station. I've been in
you've
radio.
used them before. I don't want people to think that you're like plugging just to plug.
Oh, no. Okay.
Because I just want to preface that because...
Wait, you were going to show me something on the fly here because I asked you to show me another Rode product, and you'll show me that in a second. But I want to say, yeah, this is the first time I'm seeing this, and I've been in a lot of radio stations. This, to me, this whole setup here that you have feels like I'm in one of these big studios.
It's the lighting, it's the microphones, it's the arms.
So you have the whole 9 yards. Now, what's this, Jared?
That's an HS1.
Okay.
They sent us that to use. I think you'd enjoy that for a game, but it's not as big as some of the other ones.
Right.
But it sounded tremendous. It's it hooks behind your head.
Right.
So that part hooks behind your head.
Like this?
I think so.
Sort of?
Yeah, around your ears, and then that thing pulls down.
Right. So something like this, to this effect.
Basically, but it's going to be much lower. You probably have it set up wrong. But you'd wear that for the show. There's different tips to plug into in the back. And actually, you had it on upside down.
Okay.
That's how you put it on.
Like this?
Yeah.
I got it.
There you go. That's how you would do it. But yeah, you could get the XLR tip for it, which we have, so you can plug into a board. And
I just seeing this for the first time. And then I think I asked you one time, hey, maybe I can try this on a broadcast. I think this is neat because it's not that heavy, and a lot of those headsets out there are pretty monstrous on your earlobes. So that's actually pretty comfortable. If I can put it on correctly.
If you do. Any parting words for people outside? I know this is a different type of podcast to listen to, a different type of interview as it's not a photographer, but I wanted you guys to hear the experiences that somebody has in a different field, how they, at 24, are on national television. It is national TV. Yeah. Working for ESPN. Have you done anything for Fox yet?
Big Ten Network
Big
is
Ten
partially
is
owned by Fox.
Wow, they're really...
And also I'm in with Comcast, so I'm in with a lot of different networks, which I think will play to my advantage moving forward.
Right. So what I've taken from this interview so far is you're not afraid to knock on doors, not just sit there and send emails, but you stay in touch with people. You get critiques, you take the criticism and you do something with it. You keep up to date with your portfolio by going out and doing gigs on your own that may not be paying, but you want to keep everything fresh. You put it up online, you share it with the world, and you just have drive. And better than anything else is you're good at what you do.
No, I appreciate that, and I'm always striving to improve. And I'm a very if you meet me in person, I'll tell you that that's one of the first things you'll hear me say is that I'm always looking to get better. I'll look to the guy who's holding the wire. I'll look to the guy that's holding the camera, because these guys have been around the business. Whether they work with an NBA team or a minor league team, doesn't matter. I would say, how did you think I did? I don't care if he's not the producer, the director, or the associate producer, but what I have in front of me and as we close this out, Jared, I just wanted to read a couple things that I always jot down, kind of reminders that I always put in my broadcasting bag. Because one of the things people say to me, oh, you get these gigs on these national TV outlets, you must have no time. What do you do in your downtime when you're not on air? Well, what I do is I watch a lot of video and I take notes on them. And I'm just going to read a couple things. I always say, look, I write talk slower, smile more. I write good out. Always use a statement going out, or to tag. That means to tag something. So if you say, "Oh, that was a nice backdoor cut by Steve Smith," I'll tag it with Smith with 5 point, something like 5.6 rebounds, something like that. Then when I do some more critiques, talk slower, be a little bit smoother between graphics. What I'm getting at here, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. What I'm getting at is no matter how high I go up in the business, I'm always, always, always looking to just tweak something. And that's one of the biggest things here. No matter if I make it to the mountaintop or I stop right here, it's done for me. I'm just going to say I'm very confident on air. I think I'm good at what I do, and I try to sell myself to the fullest extent. But you can't be an ass. You got to take everything in stride. When you do a 2-hour broadcast, everything you say is not going to be perfect, and you have to realize that. But also, you just got to be yourself, and you got to keep in mind that just always pick something that you did that was great out of a broadcast, because you want to embellish that too, to especially the producers up there. But you also want to pick things that, hey, next time I'm going to do it a little bit differently, and that's what I want to take moving forward.
All right, David, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me, Jared and Steven. Great job in the back as well.
You can go to daveleno.com to hear more, and when he does start a podcast, you can check that out. But definitely go to daveleno.com. Follow him on Facebook
and Twitter at Dave Leno TV.
Well, that's good. And he has an Instagram
at Dave Leno TV.
There you go. Follow him around. If you're into it, check it out. And that's it. Dave, thanks for coming in. And I'll be right back to wrap up RAWtalk. So there you guys have it. That was Dave Leno. Really fascinating. You were the first to hear it because you were sitting there recording it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I loved it. Obviously, I'm a big fan of radio. I work in it, and coming from that's kind of his roots. It really brought back a lot of memories for me, and just how you related it to photography and how much you need to just persevere and really get your name out there and network and do all that. It may not be a photography related interview, but at the same time, it does relate. So it was just interesting stuff, and I love what did he do? He was doing all the live reads, all that kind of stuff, and then how he impersonated the one guy that we know.
Merrill Reese.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, well, he's spot on. I think he won a contest once doing that. Merrill Reese he's an announcer. He's annoying as hell on the radio, but he did it perfectly.
He really did. I was in the other room when he was doing it, and it sounded like he was literally right next to us.
Yeah, no, so it was good. Dave's a great guy. Check out daveleno.com. He's got a couple of shows coming up, live shows, where it's Wednesday, the 18th of... Well, Wednesday the 18th, that would be this week if you're listening to it when it first comes out of December. Temple versus Texas Southern. Sunday the 22nd, Rutgers versus Army on ESPN 3, your network in the internet. Sorry, your network in the cloud. But really, they run the shows just what? What are you looking at?
I'm just making sure this is going to be out by then.
It is.
It definitely is?
Yeah, because I'm...
you're right. It's going to be... Yeah, you're right.
The 18th is Wednesday.
Yep.
I come home from my trip.
Yeah.
Because I'm tomorrow... flying out to New Orleans for the boot camp, then going to Fort Lauderdale to be with my grandfather. And
it's a busy week.
Yeah, but it's sort of a vacation, kind of.
Nice.
I mean, after that, it's a couple days in the sun. I'm going to go swimming, hit on some old ladies.
You bringing the GoPro this time?
I don't know. I don't know that I want to really bother working.
Yeah. No, I would just relax. Take some time off.
We'll see. I mean, it's only a day and a half or 2 days. I'm meeting some people down there that I know, and I'll still keep up for like an hour a day getting stuff going.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'll drive over. I got to rent a car. I may get a Mustang again because the rental cars that they have are so lame.
They always are. My
They're
brother
like
actually
lame.
runs Avis Rent-A-Car at the Atlantic City Airport. He's the manager of that, and you have to like literally ask for like an awesome car to get it.
Oh, I'm going to ask.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm going at a non-peak time.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can get something. Like, I don't care. It doesn't have to be a Mustang. Like, just like an SUV, of course. Like
Something cool.
When Adam and I were in Nashville, we got one of those Volkswagens. Was awesome.
That is pretty cool.
An SUV. We good on time still?
Yep.
All right. Well, we're going to be done. Don't forget about that thing, December 29th. Would love to see you guys out there.
Yeah.
Thank you to Rode Microphone, Adorama Picks, Think Tank. We still want to thank the Atomos people for letting us use the Ninja Chew, which we've used now. This is the 3rd episode. Really appreciate that because we like you. Well, you like editing with it, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Makes everything kind of easier.
It's funny because it's a smaller file size yet a bigger megabit data rate than the GoPro, and the GoPro file, I don't know why, but the GoPro files
bloated.
are so big. Yeah, I don't know why.
So we got that. Oh, and don't forget, on the website, there's ViewBug photo contest going on. If you go to the website, you'll see on the right-hand side, fronosphoto.com, that there is a contest. ViewBug's a photo contest website. If you click on that contest, it's going to take you over to the winter weather contest that they're doing. So winter weather photos. Good luck. Try it out. Photo news. Thank you, Stephen, for doing that.
You're welcome.
Big thanks to Dave Leno, DaveLeno.com, for taking the time of out of his busy schedule to do this. Don't forget about the Rode 12 Days of Christmas. If you can win a $4,000 microphone, I'll buy it. Maybe you'll win something cool and know somebody who wants to use it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And that's going to be it, guys. We'll let you know if we're skipping any weeks for the end of the year. We may do one more to end the year or one to begin the year. I don't know. I'll be back Wednesday night. I think we'll probably do one Thursday, and
I have a feeling we'll do one more.
And that probably takes us to the end of the year.
Well, yeah, then we'll probably take a week off for...
That's the 19th, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's the 26th.
Actually, when is...
And stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. I just want to see when Christmas...
Well, we're still recording,
is.
right?
Yeah, we are still recording. Yeah, that's going to come out the 23rd if we do it.
All right. All right, so that's going to be it, guys. Thank you again for watching Raw Talk, episode number 65, or listening to it. Please subscribe on iTunes so you can get it automatically downloaded to your phone when it gets released on Monday nights at 12:01 a.m. And then we get that out, and then the video comes out on the Tuesday sometime. And thank you guys very much. That is it. Jared Polin, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.